And we are back for round number 4 here for the Mexican Grand Prix in MSRL season number 6. Round 4 out of 10. Well, Nick, how are you? How are you doing? And it's been an interesting week last weekend in USA. We saw a few back and forths, a few an unfortunate DSQ, and then some battles, a lot of battles actually for positions up and down the track. What do you expect this time around from Mexico?
Well, yeah, we had a very interesting race in Coda. This time around in Mexico, I don't know, a lot of narrow tracks, a lot of narrow corners. Turn 1, Turn 2, Turn 3 is a very complex set of right-hand corners. That's usually where you get a lot of tangles on the first lap. Turn 6 might catch a lot of people off guard, especially with how steep of a hairpin it is. Sector 2, I don't see much of an issue from 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Those are really straightforward single file corners. Turn 12 is where I think we'll have some overtaking happening as we go into the stadium section.
Oh yeah.
And definitely the entire stadium section is very narrow. I think it will be one source of incidents, I think. But if the drivers can keep it clean, I think we're going to have a very interesting race here. Delvin, you need to share me your screen.
Oh yes, remind me about that once again. Yeah, just kidding. I'll get that up real quick. But in the meantime, yeah, exactly like you said, I think the middle sector is gonna be the one to really watch out for, because that's where you really make up a majority of your lap time. Considering it's all slow speed and a few high speed corners, but nothing as high as quota as we saw in the S section. So mechanical grip and whatnot is gonna be a lot more a factor around here, similar to sector 3 in quota that we saw, that provides a lot of side-by-side racing after a long back straight. Similarly, we have two long straights over here with single detection zone coming out of the last corner just before you head as you head into the stadium section. Coming out of that little hairpin chicane-ish corner, you get a DRS detection over there, and you get DRS for the pit straight plus the next straight. So single detection, 2 overtaking zones. It's definitely a hot spot for overtaking around here. Stadium section, like you say, if someone makes a mistake or on fresher tires, actually they could really gain a lot of time in that sector. Now, it seems all dry, and that's usually a good sign, isn't it?
It might be, but I know about you, but tarmac seems a little bit darker than it should be, given if it's fully dry. It might be just the textures on the track, but I mean, of course, everyone will obviously want a dry track, but I forgot about the history of us racing here in Mexico. Has it ever rained in Mexico during our past seasons?
Well, good question. I'd say that's a no, probably. But never say never. I think there's always a first time for everything. And as we are finally into the session, like you mentioned, it does look kind of bright outside of the track. The pit lane is pretty dark over here, but we can see quite a bit of hot sun on the pit straight there. So it might be quite a sunny day here in qualifying. We don't know too much about the race though. And we have 18 drivers out on track this time, so almost a full turnout here. We are just missing the 2 Ferraris today, and well, I don't know if we miss 2 Ferraris, so what, right? We have a grid full of 18 drivers, and
it's the Ferrari master plan. What can I say?
Exactly. One way or another, I think Ferraris are going to make it work. And we have Zakwen returning after a, well, I'd say sort of a eventful race number 2 that he's had. He's missed race number 3, and he is serving a qualifying ban here for the penalties that he picked up in round number 2. So there's nothing out of the ordinary here. He's just retiring in the pits to serve the quali ban. Will it be a wise thing to start at the back though, considering turn 1 in Mexico, Nick? It's somewhat similar to turn 1 in Monza. All that carnage into turn 1. Do you prefer to be in the front here or just right at the back?
Usually, I prefer to be at the very front. It's always scary to be in the mid-pack, from my experience. If you're going to be in the mid-pack, you might as well be at the back. But at the end of the day, it really depends on how good of a driver you are. You can start from the back, but if you're not skilled enough to climb yourself back up, you're really putting yourself at the very back of the grid. You have 20 drivers to you're at this point 18 drivers to fight for, and sometimes you just really cannot get a very clean overtake. And honestly, sometimes you gotta weigh in if you think that overtaking would be a riskier strat or to just be as quick as possible.
Yeah, so I just hope we don't get any major incidents into turn one. I'm pretty sure the drivers, most of the drivers are well seasoned, in sim racing and in F1 racing at least, that they know turn one is a hot spot of incidents. And with, as usual, on the winning side, we've also issued a kind of a previous directive that any turn one incidents in lap one is always going to carry double penalties, no matter how light or how heavy the incident is going to be. So that actually helps the drivers to be a little bit more cautious here. Now, onto the first runs here, we see a mix of soft tires, medium tires, some drivers on the intermediates here trying to save a set of tires. That gives me an indication that this qualifying session might be dry all the way, so that is a good thing. We'll see the fastest lap times coming towards the end. Who do you reckon is gonna go for the pole? We have Charis, who's taken 3 race wins in a row, and his closest challenger Destiel is back here in the Haas today, and with Destiel as well is his teammate Easy. So by far, in terms of driver strength, these two are the strongest pairing that we have on grid here. So 1-2 Haas, is that too much to ask, Nick?
Well, it could be, but honestly, given how I've seen how Charis drive, with how good and confident he is, I got a feeling Charis is gonna bring it home again, unless Dastia is able to pull something out the back, maybe have a team strategy with Izzy, maybe work something out to hold Charis at the pit stop. But I doubt they're able to hold Charis back as much as he can. But hopefully we get a very good result. That is one thing that I definitely want to see. A very good fight. Charis definitely would not like to have competition, but it'll be very good for us as spectators to see a very good fight between them, don't you think?
Yeah, and you briefly mentioned things about the pit stops as well, and I think when you have two close drivers on such close space, pit stops are going to be a little bit of a trouble, especially if there's a safety car or VSC coming out at, you can say, maybe the right time or the wrong time, because both drivers would want to be on the best strategy. If they do not have enough gap on the track in the first place, they might be held up in the pits and you might actually lose track position one way or another. And well, if that's not the case though, well, good for them.
And definitely you need to factor in as well. This is not as wide of a track as it's not as wide as Red Bull Ring. It's not as wide as Coda. As you can see, it's pretty narrow, especially now in Sector 2, as you can see as the Mercedes goes through it. Very narrow. It's basically a single file section. And honestly, you as a faster driver, you might just get held up at Sector 2 and you kind of lose a lot of time if you do. But it's all about having the right luck, having the right timing, making sure you're clean. And I think you gotta make sure have to be pretty lucky to make sure that you are safe from traffic when you're racing here.
Yeah, I think it summed up pretty well there. Luck in sim racing is almost, as big of a factor as your skills. Sometimes you could be the fastest out on track on skills, but the luck isn't on your side and everything goes upside down. We've seen that happen to Swiss in the first race. In the opening race I forgot where we had our opening race. It was in Qatar, was it, or Japan, a Japanese Grand Prix. Yeah, things can go very wrong if they're gonna go wrong. What's that? Mendel's law, or some guy's law, was it? Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and
I'm
that's
not much of a noob. I'm not much of a nerd to know that.
Well, I just can't remember the guy's name. We always talk about that guy's law. If anything can go wrong, will go wrong. Perhaps the chat can remind us what law we're trying to articulate around here. Yeah.
Speaking of going wrong, did you notice just now there was a Williams going on the wrong side of the road? I think that was Womax, is it not?
Womax going on the wrong side of the road. What are you up to? Well, yeah, probably he was just getting out of way, or...
No, I think they just spun. They just spun out the exit. That's what it is, because they were just pointing in the wrong direction, recovering from it. They were ghosted. Yeah, drivers here as well. Given how much corners here are right-handed corners and how much it relies on mechanical grip, I think we're gonna see a lot of tests. It's a very strong test towards the drivers in understanding who has the best throttle control here. Some might have TC to help them, some might not. by the end of the day, it's about how well you are able to get off the corner and not overdo it, and see who can survive here.
Exactly, a very smooth surface around here, so the tires are not gonna bite into the tarmac like you do with some traditional tracks, like Kota, for example. Once again, where the track is a bit more abrasive, the tires grip up more easily. It bites into the grid, and it gives you more grip as you need it. But not in Mexico. It's pretty smooth around here, and in real life, it's even bigger of a challenge because of the high altitude. It's over 2 kilometers above ground level, which is gonna make it, very low air density around there, which means it has less drag. So they have to run like Monaco level wings in Mexico, but they still get Monza level top speeds around there with all that low drag in the high altitude. So in real life, it's much more of a challenge. In the game, well, it's not that big of a challenge though, but we'll still probably see some drivers going for the compromise between high and low downforce here. High downforce, well, you'll be quick over the race in sector 2, in sector 3. But low downforce is gonna what determines if you can make the overtake or defend from an attack on the first 2 straights here. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to watch out. Nick, what do you think?
I think it really depends on where you are in the position of the track, because what you said, you're basically fighting between having to prioritize sector 2, sector 3, or prioritizing sector 1. And given you have 2 DRS zones, right? If you are a driver that's already at the back of the grid, why not give yourself more wing so they can catch up on sector 2 and sector 3 and just get yourself a very good overtake with the DRS at sector 1 and 2, right? And in the first straight and the second straight, right? So I think that will be a good strategy for some. But for some, if you're already at the front of the grid, then you might need to find a compromise between having just enough downforce to get yourself not fall back significantly at the 2 high downforce sections, while at the same time having good top speed, just outrun the competition.
Yeah, exactly. And 5 tenths or 6 tenths is probably what the drivers are reporting they gain on the straight here with DRS alone, with a little bit of toe, of course. But if you get a perfect amount of toe, you're actually gaining a full second on the straight around here. So that's a big amount of time you can gain on the straight alone. So if you have the fresher tires, go for the overtake and then pull away in sector 2 and 3, and that's it. The strategy is simple as that. And I think for time being, someone would like to remind us that stop talking about track things and whatnot. Destial, on his return to the track, has been the first one to dip into the 15s here with a 15.7 as his fastest lap out on track today. So always good to see, and the usual 3 suspects are at the top: Destial, Zeg, and Sharis. Wow. I don't want to say that that's our podium as well. I'd like to see a little bit more drama in the race, perhaps some rain or something going on. Yeah.
Yeah, do you see that there's a
There
Aston
is.
in the middle of the track? I think that's a bugged car in the
Oh,
track.
that is actually Lampy, who's just stuck on the grid. Unfortunate for him.
No,
That-
he just joined. He just joined the track. He
Exactly.
just joined the game. So people are going to be scared because they don't know what's going on with that car.
Thankfully it's ghosted though, because you don't want to be having a car unghosted right in the middle there. Unfortunate though, I think this is the kind of glitch that I've encountered once before in a race, and you're not gonna recover from this unless you proceed to the next session. Thankfully for him though, he should be back in for the race, but that means he's not gonna be able to set another lap time for now. P5 will be his best attempt, with possibly drivers improving all around him. He might drop down to the fringes of the top 10.
Maybe, but I think this is just very unfortunate for them. But again, with Testel already setting in the 15.7, do you think drivers could improve? I see that drivers are within 1 second, 2 seconds of each other, so they seem to be already well settled into the pace as we have some technical difficulties.
Oh, excuse
But
me.
but as you can see, I think the timing sheet's already pretty set. At most, maybe we might see Switz improving, maybe Ernest improving, but I feel like Lampy's in a very good position. They qualify in the soft tires, if I remember correctly. So I think maybe there might be a 10th or 2 in there, but I feel like they might be ready for the next for the grid.
Exactly.
And besides, we have a a 50% race. A race is a race. You don't win it on the first lap. So it might be a little bit more work for Lamphey, but I got a feeling they'll be able to pull through confidently.
Oh, and that's an Alpine who has crashed in the middle sector here. Unfortunately, we can't ride on board with him. I think he's coming out of the stadium section and he is out of the race. Well, we can still ride on board with a Flaky and you can sort of figure out where he crashed here. This is the part here, the stadium section, this lowest corner here. Probably a spin or two into the wall and that's it, the race is over.
Oh, that's very unfortunate for the Alpine. Fortunately, it's only qualifying, but they have to remember to not have this sort of errors in the race because just a hit on the wall and it will be gone. And I was about to bring this up during the start of qualifying as well. You can see not much runoff we have here compared to Coda. And even in Coda, even with so much runoff, we still see people hitting the barrier from all the high-speed sections. Do you think we're going to have more likelihood of a safety car here than we have in Coda?
Sector 2 is the culprit, I'll say, if anything, because, well, you have the high-speed S section over there, and the walls are kind of close around there. Sector 3 could also be, a deciding factor, especially if drivers decide to sillily go too wide into the single file section. And yeah, we've seen that in multiple leagues around the world. The last sector becomes a hot spot for contention for positions, especially towards the closing stages. So that might just be, the cause of an actual safety car or VSC. But yeah, it's definitely in the realms of possibilities around here. Even on the pit straight, if you make a silly contact and someone going at 300 kph swipes you, and that's it. You are into the wall and say goodnight.
Yeah, it's definitely something that drivers need to look out for. As we see the amount of drivers on track, actually, there's 4 minutes remaining, and actually a lot of drivers decided to just call it a day. It seems we don't really have much drivers out. The track's pretty clean. With one of the Mercedes out right now, we have 2 of the Red Bulls out. We have one of the that's a Alfa Romeo out, and a Aston Martin out.
Exactly. So, well, I think drivers are just leaving it a little bit to the end here. We still have it's relatively short lap time around here, 115s, 116s. So as long as you go out before the 2 minutes mark, I think they'll have just enough time here to get their out laps and then set a hot lap here. But yeah, I think it's about to get busy here in a minute or so. We can see some cars, a lot more cars are starting to leave the pit lane. The likes of Nabil, who's down in P17, has not set a valid lap time as of yet. Zenobia has decided to call it a day. He's retired in the pits. Zach went, as of now, although he's serving the quali ban, he'll be starting in P16 as it is. Dastiel has retired in the pits after setting his one and only lap time in the 15s, probably close to his PB, considering he's retired so early on. So it leaves the door open here for the pole position for Zach, Sharis, Easy, Lamphey. But Lamphey's not there. Switz, anyone could take the pole position here in the coming 3 minutes or so. And first to cross the line to complete his last lap will be Hot Stuff. Improves to P8 for now, but there's a little bit more time left in there. Sharis now starting his fastest lap here into turn 1. Let's just go on board with him just in case, this turns out to be a pole lap here. It will be beautiful to post it up.
That ghosted car of Lamphey does give you a quick scare once you drive right into it.
Yeah, truly a F1 moment here.
There's a green in sector 1. Oh, he has a purple in sector 1. Oh, this might be good.
Well, let's not get too excited though. We know the Delta can be a little deceiving at times. But yeah, purple nevertheless, maybe an improvement here into sector 2. Now let's see in this S section here, real full commitment here, full flight in the game. Now coming towards the second DRS zone here into the middle sector, 6 tenths up, and this is definitely looking like it's challenging for pole. A little bit wide there on the entry into that last into the stadium section. Nicely done around here. Can he keep it together there for one last corner and the exit zone here?
Oh,
bring it close to the line, I think. And this is looking like it's almost going to be a pole, and it is pole position just by under 300ths of a second there. Sharis takes provisional pole. What can Zach do now? He's in the middle sector. He's up by half a tenth only. He needs to find 6 more tenths if he's going to challenge for pole today.
Yeah, that was a very good run by Chavez. Definitely a little bit more, little bit of errors here and there, cutting a bit too close, maybe missing a bit of apex here and there. But I also realized they really improved the driving physics here, huh? Given how you don't cut the chickens as much as you do. Oh, as you
Well,
see.
speak of cut, Nick, I think you might have just jinxed it. He has lost his lap. It's only a tenth and a half up though. I think he's gonna lose that P3 to Izzy, who's improved so much better now. It's a Haas 2-3 now. Can Zach go once again? No, looks like he's gonna call it a day. He's into the pits now, and we have, well, I think most of the drivers have set their lap time. So 30 seconds to go. Some of them are still on their out lap. Some have started their lap time. So let's ride on board with one of them and see if anyone is going for another lap here. We have, well, not Lampy. We have Kendra here, who has just started his lap here. Currently in P5. 2 tenths, 3 tenths will actually put him up in P3. So the margins are really close here today.
Oh, it seems like Heater has issues. Delvin, you might want to help him. But yeah, Kendra on their flying lap in sector 2, right in turn 6. Pretty solid so far. A little bit issues with throttle. As you can see, as they put on the throttle a little bit too harsh on it, getting the rear tires a little bit sideways. Has to be really careful though in the race if he does that. You don't want to be the one person to be veering into the wall early on into the race, or even halfway into the race. You know, drivers only win the race as they finish.
Kendra's
the
not
race,
improving here though, Nick, and I think that's gonna be the end of his lap time. So we don't have much left to offer from him. Nabil though is in the middle sector. I think he's not going for another lap. So is that qualifying done for us? That might just be qualifying done for us. Exactly. And well, that actually gives us an opportunity to invite whoever has disconnected here real quick. Let's just get them back into the lobby, and the first one is going to be Hider. All right, Hider, welcome back to the lobby. And is Lampy in the lobby as well? Let's just double check on that.
Yes, Lampy is in the lobby.
All right. Well, that's qualifying done. Anticlimactic maybe a little bit at the end, but yeah, what a lap by Sharis here to take his third pole position of the season out of 4 races. And there's still, with that one run, he actually came pretty close, and who knows, if he had actually gone for a second run, he probably would have gotten pole. But do you want to be on the front row here, Nick, in Mexico with a long run down to turn 1?
I don't know. Who takes the inside line again?
That's P2, but maybe P4 might take the lead, or P3 might take the lead into the turn 1, because, slipstream and all that shenanigans are going to happen into turn 1. So, yeah, the most vulnerable on the grid at the start is probably the top 2.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it really just depends on how good the drivers launch off the line. It could be anyone's game, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on the first 2, Sharis as well as Dastiel, both on the front, have no one to see in front but themselves. So they're going to really have to anticipate who's going to be right next to them after the start. Maybe it's going to be a 3 wide, maybe a 4 wide. Depends on how brave the drivers are into turn 1. But they also need to remember it's not really a wide track here. Runoffs aren't really runoffs, it's all grass. So it's not in anyone's benefit to be on the grass here. So I think drivers need to really be careful, really think about it through. Besides, after the first complex in Sector 1, you still have a very long straight to take the move again. So it's really about being patient, being consistent, being calm and collective, and make sure that you as well as your opponents and finish the race, or else it won't be that much fun, is it now?
Exactly. Great advice here by our seasoned racer as well, Nick. Looks like someone might have hit start early once again. Well, that guy is gonna get a bonking in the post race from us. That's always fun to look at post race incidents. I hope we don't have too many over the moon kind of incidents today. But yeah, I'm not going into the race director today. I don't want to skip out of the lobby getting bugged out again. Strategy battles, like you mentioned just briefly, I think that's going to be an important factor here as well. The tire drop off, the tire differences are actually going to make up quite a bit of the strategy around here. And let's see, into the start of the race, 5 laps coming down. Nick, take us around.
All right, 5 red lights, and Away we go. Oh, as the grid starts running, we see a very good launch from Charis. Do we see the McLaren has a good start as well?
Oh,
As you can
exactly.
see,
There you
they're
go.
still round the inside onto turn one. Side by side, I think Dasty already has made the move. As we see the Alpine right on the outside. As that still takes the first. Oh my god!
Oh,
And
there's
there's
a little bit
contact.
of contact there already. Yeah, and into turn. If we can
God,
actually
you
ride
are
on board here. Oh, it's all messy here. Everyone going off track just to not get hit here. And we'll have to probably just, I don't know, probably just sit back and watch the carnage unfold for a lap or two instead of trying to figure out what's happening. Oh, that's an Aston going wide there. Beautiful helicopter shot here. Thank you, game, for giving this to us. And we can see a Mercedes at the back. That is Nabil running a little bit wide here. Heater has retired from the session. He is out. And what's happened there looks like he might have just gotten KO'd somewhere in the middle of the track here, but there's no safety car or VSC or anything. That means race goes on.
It is.
Oh, then that's an Alpine. That's an Alpine going around, and that is
God.
Kendra, who has actually spun in the S section. Speaking about it as well earlier, so this S section is gonna be ridiculously difficult to navigate, and I think, well, he's the first one to fall for it. Now onto the action once again here. Leading the race is gonna be Destiel on his return to race number 4 here. Not far behind him is going to be Charis in the tow already, and you can see 2 tenths and 1 tenth the gap coming down, and he's not waiting for it. He's going to go for the gap, and he pulls out in the last moment.
Yeah, it seems like Hidir has disconnected here. Delvin, do you think inviting will get him back into the grid?
Unfortunately, no, that's a DNF for him on the screen.
Yeah,
so, well, that's our first one out of the running for the day. Well, if we get 2 more, then everyone else gets points here. Remember, top 15 gets points in MSRL. We have a little bit of action going on here. Womax and Nabil. Wow, Williams and Mercedes going at it once again. We saw how these two were battling it out in Kota last time out. And now it seems like the rivalry has continued a little longer. Nabil deciding to go on the hards here. Not many drivers here. The Williams and the Mercedes pair are going for the hards. And, well, I'd say that's okay for now. Zach's also on the hard tires. He's looking to go long. And up in front, we have a soft tire runner in the form of Elia in the Alpine. So that was the reason he was really quick off the line, challenging into turn 1. So he'd want to get the track position. But now, DRS will be activated at the end of this lap as lap 3 starts. They'll be able to use it in the back straight in the middle sector. And come lap 4, we might see some overtakes here on the straight, Nick.
Yeah, it might be a very good place to overtake right here as we see the first bunch all the way until P9 on its own train.
Ooh,
might be
a little bit of
few
coasting
sections.
happening there between Elia and Easy here. Not sure if that might have been a little bit of desync between the two drivers, but Elia on the softer tires here, getting past Easy, and now he just has to make sure he latches onto the DRS of the front 2 runners here. Otherwise, he can say goodbye to the win here if he actually going for it today.
I was gonna ask about the strategy. Do you think Elia in the softs might have been a good idea given how there's pretty much no one in the softs? Everyone's doing mediums and hards. Do you think the soft tires might have been a detriment given that you have to pit at least one more time? Do you think with the time gain from a soft tire, is it mitigated by the amount of times you have to stop here?
Well, if he gets a safety car right around now, he'll be happy to get rid of the softs, but I don't know, maybe in lap 6, 7 onwards, that's where probably, the soft tires are not the tires you want to be on around here. And already I think in lap 3 alone, the tires are not performing as he wants to because he's not able to pull away from Easy, who has the medium tires all fired up right now. And onto the pit straight here, we got the 2 moves coming in. Shari is going for it on Destiel here, and in P3 we have Easy now taking the move away from Elia, and Lemfi at the back just setting the fastest lap as well, while we are all trying to regroup around here on the track. A lot of moves coming in already in lap number 4, and it's not even a quarter of the way in. We will have to wait till lap 9 to get even to a quarter way here, and
yeah,
some
definitely
action.
a lot of position shifts. As you can see, even Lampi from the start, I think Lampi qualified within the top 10, right, at the start. And you can see just dropping right all the way back down to P10 from a very weird start that we have right here in MSRL. But as you can see, even the small issues that we have in qualifying might affect the confidence of a driver. given how it has really affected how Lampi has been driving here. Not sure it has damage or not, given but we see here it might not have any damage, but the Aston definitely has to pick up the
Oh,
pace
yellow in
to
sector
be.
2.
Oh
That
no!
is...
Hot stuff and
Oh,
safety car.
that is the Red Bull out of the running here. Can we see what has happened? Let's ride on board with the McLaren or the Alpine here. Has he actually crashed into the walls here? This is where he crashed, and I think he might have just lost it on the curbs here. And that's the end for hot stuff here. Safety car has been called out, like you said. What we see people driving into the pits, and we have people driving into the pits. It's the soft runner of Elia. Well, we said it, and he's actually into the pits now. Medium tires for him. So on the strategy side, he's actually going for it. Sweets. Wow, he's jumping into the pits as well. So he's taking a strategy gamble here to go onto a two stopper here. So he'll definitely have to stop again. These mediums are not going to make it till the end from here. But, you know, if he has the pace, he has the fresher tires, he's going to make up all the difference in the coming laps. So he's one to watch out for as we, you know, cool down just a moment a bit more while the safety guys out here. And let's just recap what has happened so far. Here in lap 1, DNF by crashing out or probably disconnecting in the game. Unfortunately, DNFing him, so that's his race ending. And then we have Hot Stuff, you know, the other Red Bull who we were talking about as well in pre-race off the stream in the season. But yeah, with that DNF, that might just actually promote some points to the Haas, who are currently running 2 and 3, whereas the Mercedes, who are in P2 right now in the Constructors' Championship, will also be happy to see that one of their rivals actually squandered a good position here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have the 2 Haas surviving here, and we have one of the Red Bulls out of the league. And in a constructor standpoint, it's definitely important to have both drivers finishing the race, and with one of the drivers out now, you're just giving up points to the other constructors. As you can see, the 2 Haas comfortably in P2 and P3, not pitting though, so you have to definitely see what happens, as the first top 11 have not pitted, whereas anyone behind them will have pitted, as we see Kendrick coming in for the pits. Do you think pitting when the safety car has really bunched up is beneficial though? Oh, that is unfortunate for Zach Wynn.
Yeah, Zach Wynn picks up a 5 here. If the safety car doesn't go in at the end of this lap though, he'll be happy to serve the penalty immediately in the pits. Otherwise, he'll have to pit again and serve it. Yeah, back to your question though. Pitting once the safety car's bunch, I don't know. It's a questionable choice around here. But given that the freshness of tires you are on, every lap counts here. With the wear rate being pretty high here in Mexico, I think Kendrick might have just done himself a favor here, considering everyone, well, pretty much most of the grid ahead of him has not boxed. Speaking of which, let's just bring up the pit stop details around here. Only the top 10 are not yet pitted, as well as P13. So that leaves us with P11, P12. There we see Elia in the Alpine, Switz in P12, Kenrick in 14, Zenubi in 15, and Zakwan in 16. So all these drivers have a tire advantage right now, but can they convert that into a meaningful track position? That's what we're interested to see. Oh, and he picked up a time penalty there. Unfortunate there for Zakwan on his return to the season, to this race number 4 as well. He's sliding all over the track here. The tires are definitely having a little bit of a nightmare to warm up here. So I think he'll be happy that if the safety car doesn't go in at the end of this lap.
Yeah, definitely weird penalty to get, especially when you're behind the safety car. You're not racing for any position share other than catching up to the safety car. So I think you gotta be as clean as you can, as safe as you can, because it will not be fun to be crashing out behind the safety car. Would you think?
Oh, that's some position swaps going on up in front. What's happening there? Is that Zach Wen or is that Kenrick? Someone's going somewhere. Oh, okay. There are drivers who are decided to box once again. And would you look at that? 2 drivers are into the pits. Ayman Haikal in the Williams, Nabil in the Mercedes, boxing out of the hard tires. And onto the set of mediums, Nabil switching wings as well. What has happened over there in the lap and a half? while they were behind safety car, has he done something funny that actually forced him into the pits here? So Nabil, something naughty around there, and he's into the pits. He'll get a fresh set of mediums though. So on the strategy side, he's on the same thing like his teammates. So that'll be fun to watch. While the rest of the grid are still staying out on those old tires here. Zakwen though, I thought he would have boxed at the very least under the safety car to serve that 5 second, but no, he's gonna be on a disadvantage on the restart here.
It's already restarted if you didn't know this.
Oh, it's restarted. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that was brief. We didn't get the safety car incoming message. My bad there, folks. I might have just dozed off here while trying to stay awake. But yeah, safety car has gone in apparently, and we still have some action going out on track.
And as you see, Zakwin's in the middle of Sector 2. I think Zakwin has already spun out at Sector 2.
Oh yeah, the hard tires. Oh, Destil has retired.
Oh no!
What has happened in the pit lane here? My oh my oh my. Has he actually gone into the pits to retire to leave the session or something? Or is he crashed? Has he crashed onto the straight here? We can't exactly get a view here, but we might actually...
You can see that's still in the pits.
Yeah, and he's in the pits. His car is retired, but wow, I've no idea what's actually happening out on track right now.
It is definitely very weird. Oh, Destel is getting a bit tired apparently, and decided that he's decided to call it for the night.
Well, that's good news for the Mercedes pair though, because now they will have a lot less drivers to contend with for the rest of the race. But yeah, let's get back to the action out on track though. So we have different drivers on different strategies. The one to be looking out on is probably Switz here on the charge with Kendrick on the rest of the field here. Kendrick here, as you can see, well, while he's chasing someone, he's also being chased by Switz here into the middle sector. With those fresh tires, you can see how much closer they're able to run to the cars in front. And up in front, Shara is still keeping his lead. Easy now, has to carry the flag for the Haas team. 3 and 4 goes to the... hold that
move.
thought, Switch. Wow, the dive. They're beautifully done around the outside and nicely done though. Carrying on the outside. Can he do it on the outside though? A little bit of tapping there. But looks like Switch might just get the toe here and get the run onto the straight. So this, without DRS activated just yet, it's gonna be an interesting move. Up in front, second is here swapping position, but this is what we have been looking for. Two drivers on same strategy are going to go for it, and that is Zakwan. Oh, he has crashed on the back straight, and that is gonna bring out another safety car, which is, well, another turning point in the race, Nick.
Yeah, I think that's when you need to think about the strategy here. We already have one part of the grid. We have 5 drivers already in the pits. Now the remaining are definitely going to be going into the pits. The question is, are the ones that already have pitted, should they go to the pits again for a different tire strategy? Or is it too early to go into the hard for the end of the race?
Good question. It might be just a touch early for the medium runners right now to go till the end on the hards. They will definitely make it till the end. About 20-ish laps. That's what the hard tires are projected to do. But then again, it's going to get very close at the end with tire wear. So someone like Switz or whoever boxed earlier, Zanubi, Wumax, who are still out on there on that alternate strategy that they have started on, they might actually benefit from it. Zach is staying out. Shariz is jumping into the pits here. Not sure if that's a good move by Zach to stay out on the old hard tires. We've seen how that did not pay off in the first 3 races of the season. Fresher tires definitely mean a lot more pace around here. As you can see, Flaky now jumping into the pits. Kendra jumping into the pits as well. Nope. And Zanubi, he's staying out. Wumax was a little far off in the middle sector, now coming into the final sector here. Or will he jump into the pits? Okay, so this is shaping up to be a interesting restart once again. Easy has decided to stay out. The top 4 has actually decided to stay out here on the medium tires. So tire life is a big concern from what I can make it out from this.
Yeah, this is the thing also as well that I think we have to think about. Is it worth it for them to stay out, do a couple of laps in very big train traffic to only come back into the pits? Or they should have done the pits like Charis did, get everything sorted out. Then they don't have to worry as they are fighting in the train, because then you don't need to worry too much about the tire wear, given that you are within the train. With this rate, it might be a bit scary. We're not sure how things might work out, but I think we'll have to see as things go by, don't you think, Delvin?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure on the restart here because we have all sort of strategies running all over the board here. Top 3, top 4 on 9 lap all medium tires from the start. Well, Zach on the hard tires, so at least he's gonna be on the better tire right now with given the wear level. Elia, who stopped under the first safety car, followed by Kendrick and Switz, are up there in 5 to 7. Sharis, well, on the freshest hard tires here. He's in P8, so he's gonna have a stonking restart here with fresh tires, and given that we know how quick he is, you do reckon by lap 15 he'll be back in the lead here, lap 16 at least, and pull away.
Yeah, I think with now that's still out the fight for P1, I think Charis is gonna be cruising along. Unless Easy and Zach have the answer, I think Charis is gonna just push as hard as he can while being as safe as he can and just slowly come back up to P1, because I think he himself knows that there ain't much competition for him up front right now. And it's gonna be a fight between Switz, Zach, Easy, and the rest of the crew to see who gets the remaining podium spots here in Mexico.
If I am Charis right now, I'd be thinking the same as you just said, knowing that everyone in front of you has to make another stop. I'll just have to play it safe, get into the lead, nurse the tires till the end. They can go till the end, but if there's a second, well, we are already in the second safety car. If there's a third safety car or VSC towards the end, he's in an advantageous position because he's pulled out the gap and the track position. So yeah, I think he'll have to play it smart here, play it easy, and just wait for the drivers in front to have a little squabble, or maybe just lose a bit of traction, given that they are on super old tires here. So yeah, I think smart way is the way to go for him. And we have all drivers bunched up, and this time, Nick, I'm not going to miss the safety car in-lap message. We're going to have a proper restart. I'll let you take the restart though this time, because I fumbled it last time.
Alright, then as you see the cars bunching up, do we expect any drivers coming in with the safety car? I think that will be a dumb move, but at this point, we are where we are. So exactly. I don't think they have a choice.
We have seen a bunch of crazy moves towards the end of last safety car with Nabil and Ayman having some troubles, but top 3 are kind of pulling away. Lampy is just dropping a little bit here. Lampy might want to catch up again. Thankfully he does, and it's a late pull away. Nick, we're off.
As we restart, as Zach coming in, staying in front, as they jump P1 to P5 position, pretty far apart with each other, as we see. Pretty safe, pretty solid. Switz 2/10 behind Kendrick. Hopefully he wants to catch up and make a move. Kendra making a move on Zanup and Flaky. 2 positions there for the Alpine. Really cool, really solid. Flaky overtaking Zanup. I think that's a strategy call from
the coming in there in the Alpha garage. Definitely. And yeah, soft tires as well for Kendra here on the restart. So, he might as well go for it, right? If you have to pit again, just take the soft tires now, make up the position, and you can see in P5 and 6, Lampy and Kendrick, Team Orders coming in once again. Or is that not Team Orders? Because they are actually bumping wheels, the Aston teammates bumping wheels, and that gives a run for Switz around the outside, makes 2 moves, just like that, and he's up 2 positions. Wily old fox there, Switz. That's a champion's move there. Now he's up into P5, up ahead for him, all tire runners here, so he's actually doing really well here, Switz, for now.
Yeah, Aston Martin Garage is definitely not going to be happy with what they two are doing. They definitely need to communicate better between the 2 drivers, because things like this really affect how the grid forms. And I think it was a bit of a dumb move for the both of them, because at this point, given how it was just a restart, you're going to have a lot of drivers next to each other, and smooth communication will definitely help to at least have one another be able to help each other pull away from your competitors. Yeah. But as you can see, if you don't communicate well, it's just going to...
Some more moves coming in already without DRS enabled. So, Nabil now making a move on the inside here on Zenubi, picking off one of the Alfa Romeo. Next up for him is the other Alfa Romeo of Flaky and Kendra. All the while we've been waffling about, he has made up another position up into, well, oh no, he's still in the same position. He was challenging for the position with Lampy. Seems to be Lampy is the one that suffered out of that the Aston shenanigans that happened. He was viewing his wheel a little bit on the straight. Now Kendrick falls to Charis as well. The fresher hard tires now finally kicking in. The hard tires are starting to warm up, and you can see Charis made a move in the middle sector, and now up for him, next up for him is Switz, and he's already caught up within DRS range in this part alone. And we're gonna get a flurry of overtakes if I'm right into the next straight. Zanubi picks up a 3-second penalty. Kendrick and Lampy are going for it in the background here. Side by side almost. Kendra pushing really hard on the limits there. Made the pass on Lampy up into P8 now.
Yeah, definitely very strong moves by every driver right here. As we see, DRS is enabled. As
Oh,
we can see,
look at
bunch
this.
of overtakes here.
My goodness, would you look at this 4-man train, Nick? And well, DRS has just been enabled, so it's only gonna have to be all on brute force here. And there you can see Kendra on the Alpine, in there, the other Alpine, what I mean. Yeah, 4 wide there, almost into turn 1, and
God.
look at that. And how have they managed to keep it clean is beyond my expectations.
And Charis being the power move, he is all the way up to P4 already, overtaking both the Aston as well as the Mercedes right there. And Switz still holding on to dear life as he's battling against Ernest. Oh my god, I think they touched a little bit there.
Just a little bit, I
As
think
Switz
that should be just clean there, I think, on the limit. But yeah.
Yeah, I think really solid move by the drivers here, really good overtakes. But there's actually one thing looming across. I was going to say Lampy got overtaken by Kendra. Lampy's tires are starting to age, 13 laps. As well as Easy in P2 as well. I think they really need to start thinking about pitting in as soon as they can. With how aged their tires are, will they be able to hold on? Or are they planning to do a one-stop in this race? Do you think it's going to be a good idea to do a one-stop in this race?
Well, one-stop is usually the way to go around. However,
oh my god.
Well, we'll have to put that 3 second aside. But yeah, strategy-wise, one stop is usually the way to go around here, as we have a 3-way battle going on the pit straight here. So now there we go. DRS has been enabled, so we'll get some back and forth shenanigans going on. Up in front, Charis goes up into P3, but here P7 and P8 between Kendrick and Kendra. Oh, both the Kens are fighting for it. Who's gonna come ahead? Kendra around the outside, just a little bit of a tap with the Alpha Tauri of Scientist here, and now he's up ahead. Kendrick, can he fend off Scientist here into the next corner here? Looks like he's got DRS, so Scientist is gonna stay ahead for a corner here.
Yeah, I think the detection zone definitely helped out Scientist Ernest here, giving him DRS for both straights right here, causing Kendrick to really fall off in this battle right now.
Yeah, and what you said, Nick, earlier is coming into fruition more and more as the laps go on. The old tires, the mediums or the hards, whatever be it, they are actually starting to fall off here. Easy is now dropped off in the middle sector to Elia in the Alpine. So, well, the 4 laps definitely makes a bit of a difference here. But as you can see, Charis, who is now up into P2, he has pulled off 2 seconds of a gap. Zach is ahead of him. 9 laps difference in those tires. I don't think that's going to be a big challenge. Easy now, I think, calls it a stint, and he's into the pits here to go on to the hards for the next stint. And back onto the action on the straight though.
As you can see, Charis taking the fastest lap in the hard tires. That's really a giga move. Right there being the
a little bit of contact
driver
there between Zach and Charis. Yeah, as he was just about to make the overtake. I think Zach here, I think he knows that this position is going to be lost very soon, but he's defending really hard. Cleanly, I suppose, just as on the limits here. But yeah, Switz and Elia as well going for position swaps here, both on similarly aged tires here, so they'll have to work together. Right behind of them though is Kendra, the other Alpine. So now we have 2 Alpines ganging up on a Mercedes around here. Will we see the team orders coming in play for the Alpines here into the middle sector? I'm guessing it's going to come really soon here.
I think it really depends on how well they communicate within each other, or if they don't communicate with each other, maybe a move on the inside from the other Alpine will give the other driver a good enough hint that they should really give the position so that they could fight the Mercedes in front. But it really is up to the driver in front to think about if he really wants to give his teammate a go or not. As you know, some drivers don't really care for their teammates, but still. it really is depending on what their
Oh, there you go.
main goal is this race.
Team orders has been called. Elias into the pits. I think he might have just fumbled a little bit the entry. That releases Kendra into P1. He is pushing hard to get back within a second. He has DRS, but can he go back up into P3? But all the while, Sharis has actually made the move stick this time on Zach, and now he's probably released into the clean air. He's gonna pull away, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gonna have the DRS into the second straight and just gonna have a good run within sector 2 and sector 3. I think at this point Sharis is basically off into his own race, out in front without traffic, unless you get into back markers, but that's besides the point. And I think Zach is gonna be concerned about fighting his time with Switz if Switz ever catches up. But I think he also has to remember that Switz has a 3-second penalty for track limits. So I think the main competitor he has right now will be Kendra as well as Ernest in the AlphaTauri as well as the Alpine.
Yep. And speaking of that, we have Kendra now trying to get back within a second of Switz, and we have the other Mercedes of Nabil has closed up on Scientist. Scientist on those old medium tires and Nabil on the fresher medium tires. As you can see, so much more grip in this slower sector, the mechanical sector here. 4/10 is gained in that entire sector and a half alone. A Scientist pulls into the pits, that releases Nabil into the clean air, and that's a yellow in sector 3. Can we ride on board with someone to see what's happening at the back here?
That looks like a Williams. No, that's the Alpine of Elia. Might have just overcooked it into the corner. Might have outbroke himself, and he had to basically go on the exit and recover from that. But
we can only
all that
wonder
position gone.
Happened. Exactly.
Yeah, all that position gone though, which is a bit unfortunate for Elia. But we still have a long race to go. I think it would be a very big effort for Elia to start climbing the back up the entire grid.
Yeah.
But it's what's reality right now, and I think that he has to do his best.
Exactly. And now we have Easy and Lampy, who were on that, well, sort of the inferior strategy compared to the rest of the grid, on hard tires. Both of them just pitting a lap after each other, find themselves in P9 and 10. They are catching up to the drivers ahead, so these hard tires are starting to warm up. They are starting to cook on this track, and they can go till the end comfortably. Question is, can they go long enough? Womax, I think, is the Williams that you're looking at here, who has had a little bit of trouble here on the exit of turn 10, if I'm right here. And yeah, he's having a little bit of trouble here navigating this sector. Last time out, he's locked up once again there, but you know, I think the helicopter shot is going to leave him out of the section. We go back up into P5, where actually Zach, from the lead from a while ago, he's finally boxed onto the medium tires here. He'll be coming out sort of in clean air. Easy sets the parcel slap on the hard tires at the back. Now Zach, can he get ahead of the Easy and Lampy? This is gonna be close. This is gonna be close into turn 1. Easy just getting ahead. Zach squeezes himself in between. Lampy will be fumed that he can't get ahead, and now it's up to Zach using these medium tires to get past the Haas ahead of him and then pull the trio along.
Well, it's going to be hard for him as we see the Lamphy having a DRS run into Zach. Can Zach hold it off? If plan goes by, then he has to make sure that Lamphy is behind him, or else he's going to have to fight against Lamphy, and then the rest of his plans will be ruined.
Yeah, pretty close. That 210s is running up in front. Switz and Kendra on those different tires as well. They're trying to pull each other along. I suppose Kendra is going to get past Switz around here, and let's just see if that's the case. And also right behind Zach is getting a little impatient here to get past the driver in front of him. And up in front, just for P2, I think there's a little easy swapperoo coming around. Kendra on the soft tires, getting past Switz into turn 1. Easy is like it, and now he will have DRS for the second straight as well to make sure that he does not get overtaken by Switz again. Zach here now finally with the DRS softer medium tires here, and he goes up into P6. Easy as you like it once again.
As you can see, Elia right now making work coming after the spin in sector 3, moving up pretty quick right now already in P11, just overtaken Zanu. I think they are doing really well in terms of doing a recovery lap, but you gotta make sure you do as best as you can, as we have 16 laps remaining into this race. Can he recover back his original position. Maybe, fight for maybe top 7, maybe. But we'll have to see as they start chugging along, chipping out names under that's in front of him right now, as he is right behind Kenrick, as we can see here, 7/10, the gap between him as well as the car in front. But given how we are coming into the second sector, very fast corners might get compromised, as you see.
Oh, what's happening there to
Flaky
Flaky? He's kind of
slowing
slowing down. Or is he just letting the faster drivers through? Is he gonna steal some DRS here to survive the straight? Looks like I think he's just playing the smart game here, being on the older tires. But yeah, Nick, as you mentioned, different strategies. I think they're finally starting to come into fruition here once again. As you can see, a few more drivers jumping in the pits. That's Nabil into the pits to make his second pit stop of the day. He'll get rid of those old tires, and now on the pit straight here we have Lamphy and Flaky. Oh, that's a little bit of contact there from Lamphy. I think that surely that was not intentional. Surely that was, done in not in a harmful way, but I think Lamphy might have just actually hit Flaky there on the entry into the braking zone. Is he actually letting Flaky pass, or is he going to go through?
No,
I don't know.
No, definitely not. I think we're going to have a long discussion in that one in the stewards box, but hey, that's for after the race.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think right now, as you can see, only a few drivers left with pretty worn out tires. You have Charis, Kendra, Switz in front, as well as Flaky all in.
I believe Switz might be just boxing this lap. If his teammates box in the last lap, chances are Switz might actually jump into the box as well this lap. And there you go, he's pulling in tight, and there you go, into the pits he goes Switz. He will let go of the P3 for now, but he will get an undercut on Kendra, who is still running on the soft tires here. And Zach will keep a close eye on him, as he has actually got past the start finish line already, and he has got a massive undercut on the duo up in front of him for sure. If Charis decides to pit again, he's definitely going to fall back. But yeah, for now, Switz now coming out in clean air, crucially for him, and he's pushing hard on the exit to not get overtaken by Flaky here, and just keeps ahead for now. So beautifully timed there by Switz, just a lap on time, a lap later, and probably he would have fallen behind some traffic on all the tires here. But yeah, undercut attempt on Kendra. This is for position for P2. Kendra crucially also picking up that 3-second time penalty, so it's going to be a straight up battle between these two. Zach in the meantime, he is 13 seconds behind Kendra, but he has gone 3 laps longer here, so it's gonna take a while for Switz to catch up. But once he catches up, I think that tire life is gonna come into clutch.
Yeah, but also you gotta remember, Zach, even though 13 seconds behind Kendra still has a pit lane as well as the 3-second time penalty that he has. It's going to be very obvious that Zach is going to be taking that P2 position away from Kendra, as you see Kendra coming into the pits.
Wow!
Now it's more up to...
he's really pushing it. He's really pushing it on the entry. Fishtailing all over Sector 3, but yeah, I think he's going to get overtaken around here. Zach coming through the last corner. He's going to go through. Easy is going to go through. Lampy's going to go through. Now Switz, well, he's catching up.
He's going to go through though.
Is he going to go through as well? Yeah, looks like he is actually. And that is by a long way ahead. Long way ahead. And there you go. That's how powerful the undercut is. And right on cue, we have actually caught onto a battle between Scientist and Flaky here. Flaky, well, on the old tires here, I think he has just lost a little bit of momentum here. And he's actually, well, dropping down the order. Next up for him to defend, well, it's not going to be much of a battle. 5 seconds behind is going to be Nabil. I think he's going to be back at the back of Flaky in a lap or two for sure with these fresh tires. Speaking of which, Nick, they've reconverged. The two country mates. Oh, and Lampy is letting through. Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
Is that some tactical move there for Lampy to latch onto this DRS of his fellow countrymen?
Maybe, or I think maybe Lampy might be thinking about fighting against the Haas instead of the Mercedes, understanding that maybe
yellow there.
This might not be. Oh, yellow. Who's that?
Oh, well, they're back.
Like there's no issues.
Back on track.
But it seems that I think that Easy.
Oh, yellow again, and that's actually Elia who has retired. Yeah, we were just being sold a dummy by the game, and it looks like
safety car.
Third time in the race, and we are just at the crossroads here where strategy once again is going to come into play. But the likes of Nabil, the likes of, you know, Swedes, those who have all used up all their good tires here, are they going to stay out or going to go onto a set of soft tires here to end the race? Now we've
I was
seen
gonna
a
say,
first
will
bunch of
Charis have a
drivers.
soft tire?
Oh, he'll definitely
Sharon
have
have a soft
one for
tire.
sure. I think he's definitely saved up a set, and we'll find out as he goes around. He has managed to skip the safety car, so he'll be under Delta. But like you say, will he box? I'm pretty sure he'll box for it. But what tire is he gonna go on? Soft, mediums. Take your bets right now, chat. If you're there, make your predictions as well. What's gonna happen in this last 12 laps? And if you're here as well, make sure you hit that like. Subscribe as well. You know, if you've been following us for a while, you love these races. Yeah, you definitely want to catch more of this. We have 6 more races after this one is done. It's a short 10 race season here for season number 6 before we go on a year-end break, and we bring you some more action in year 2024. But for now, well, looks like things are neutralized once again. Nick, we always love the safety car because it actually gives us a little bit of a time to, you know, stay hydrated, gulp a sip, gulp or sip some water here, stay hydrated, and we have, you know, a little bit of time to catch your breath here.
Yeah, definitely a little time to catch your breath. A little bit of time to actually think about what the remaining of the race is gonna look like. Flaky definitely has to pit in soon, as well as Nabil. Both are on 14 lap old tires, and it's gonna be interesting for the rest of the grid as well. You have 2 soft tires, as we expect the Sherry's to be in the softs, and majority of them in the mediums. Now the question is, who is going to disrupt the grid as the grid bunches up again in the safety car? Seems like, where is the safety car actually? Because we don't see actually any drivers bunched up at all. Not like the rest of the safety.
Right on cue, actually.
Safety cars.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
Charis has caught on to the safety car here, which was stopped at the end, just right on the second straight here. And yeah, we'll have a safety car going around the lap. Charis on the soft tires. There you go. So just like you thought, he's on the soft tires. So he'll get a rapid pull away on the restart here. Right behind him is Switz, who's been pulling in that consistent P2s in the last 2 races. Will he make it 3 P2s in a row for himself and, you know, rake in some more points for Mercedes? Kendra also, finally having a good race after the first 3 races. Not exactly going his way. He is on, currently on P2 as well, on 2 laps all medium tires. They box, mind you, under the normal green flag racing, and I think they were just a little unfortunate there with the timing of the safety car. Zach is okay, going good right now, and in P4 on the fresh soft medium tire, maybe a lap or 2 fresher than the guys ahead, might come in clutch at the end. Easy in P5. Kendrick has stayed out on the medium tires, so he might be a little vulnerable on the restart, especially with Lampy here on the softs as well. Scientist now, as you can see, coming into the stadium section as well. He's on a set of mediums here. Easy, what's happening to him? Why is he slowing down? Oh, he's into the pits. That's no. Kendrick pulling into the pits. I think he heard us from far apart. Kendrick, well, I think it's time for you to go on the softs. Those 6 lap all mediums, they can hold on, but they're not going to hold on that much longer against fresher tires here. So yeah, he's going to lose some track position right now. But crucially, he's on the softs, so he'll be rapid on the restart as well. Once again, time penalties, Nick. They might decide the end right here.
I think time penalties are definitely gonna play a very big effect on who's gonna be in the podium this season around. I think given how, you know, Switz has a 3-second penalty, Kendra has a 3-second time penalty, it's gonna be a very easy cruising for Zach if he's able to stay within the gap for the 2 of them. But as you can see, the safety car is a bit longer than usual, mainly because of how spread out the grid was. I think this has definitely affected the strategies that each driver has. And I think, such as just now, as you can see from Kendrick, who is now in P9, the longer safety car definitely has affected their decision to put in for the softs. Now the question is, will the others do the same? As we see, 4 drivers still need to catch up for the safety car before it restarts. We still don't see the safety car saying that it's going to restart, but do you expect it to come in a lap or 2 or not?
Well, it stays out for a maximum of 3, which it still has 1 more to go. So I think, Zenobia and Wumax at the back, they're just playing this smart here. They're not catching up to it right as quickly as they need to. And that's going to open up their strategy choices as well. They can potentially pit for a set of soft tires at the end of this lap and be quick on the restart as well. A lap of 2 tires as well, once again, might just make a little bit of a difference here. So we have soft tires, we have medium tires all over the grid. And, safety car is going around for one last lap. And then we'll have a restart.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. I think the smart decision for Womack right now will be to pit for the softs. But if Womack does pit for the soft, will he be able to catch up to the safety car before it restarts?
Oh yeah, exactly, because he's still far away. Look at that. Zenobia has box and he is... Ooh, that's a little bit of cut there by Womax. I think that's a little late there. Cheeky little cut, but yeah, he'll get into the pits and pick up a set of soft tires, but looks of it from far apart. It is the set of soft tires, so yeah, wise choice there. And I think he'll have to get a rapid outlap around here, almost racing speed to get close to the grid again. The safety car now is going through the infield section here in the start of sector 2. It's definitely going to come in at the end of this lap, so everyone has to pick up the pace sooner or later. Charis will be leading the restart on the soft tires this time. We have a fastest lap of 19.1 being held by Easy so far, so that is probably going to change very, very soon. We have everyone on fresher tires. 3-second time penalties all over the grid. We have 13 drivers remaining. Top 15 get points, so if you finish here on out, you're definitely guaranteed some points here. But yeah, it's a matter of how high can you get with track limits and whatnot. And we have a safety car in this lap. Womax just a little bit far behind. I think he'll just make it back in time here. Zenobi has rejoined the pack, and we'll have a cracking 10 laps to finish off this race.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very fun sprint race as we see the grid coming into the stadium section. Charis leading the way as Switz in P2. Kendra in P3. I didn't even notice Switz already in P2. Zach in P4. And it's going to be go and a go as we see Charis coming in to the last corner as we start the lap. Very good run as he already gapping Switz into the first corner. I think it's going to be... We have to see how it happens into the grid as we see the whole grid lining up onto the turn on the first straight. No DRS as we start. Pretty clean, pretty safe. I think everyone was pretty spaced out pretty well.
Oh, but there we go. Speaking of clean, well, immediately there's a little bit of sideways action there. Zach has kind of tapped Easy around. Kendra now losing positions as well. Was it Kendra who got tapped around? My bad. And now he's lost 3 positions on the restart. So Zach making full use of his fresher tires here, dispatching the 2 drivers, and up into P3 he goes. Switz now falling back as well on the medium tires against Chariz's fresher soft tires. Well, I guess that's Chariz into the lead once again. Behind though, Kenrick and Nabil, but that's Kenrick and Flaky almost going side by side. Kenrick forced off track just a little bit there. Flaky right on his tail into this middle sector S section here. And just behind him as well, Nabil now having to defend from Ayman Haikal just a moment ago, but he's kind of pulled off a safe gap here.
There's no picking up another 3-second penalty from the second sector. Definitely, a lot of drivers have picked up a lot of penalties here. That definitely it's a place that everyone's having issues with maintaining themselves on track. But as you can see just now with Lamphy getting pushed off by Zach, having to defend really hard against the Alpine. But it was gonna, they had to do something else. They're gonna get eaten up alive by
now Kendra. We'll have a 3 wide moment here, almost into the pit straight. Like I said, no DRS just said, it's all on brute force here. And looks like it's almost a collision there. But yeah, there you go. The Alpine kind of, getting into contact with the Aston Martin. I'm losing my words here as well, as these drivers are going side by side everywhere. And as my UI is starting to bug out. Yeah, there we go. Back on track here. Zach, well, not Zach, that's Scientist in P8 against Kenrick. Now those tires again, soft tires are going to be much stronger, as you can see on this restart. But come the last 2 or 3 laps, the medium tires will definitely come in clutch. But how fast can these soft tires make up any positions? Kenrick now at the back of Kendra, so the both Kens are converging once again up in front, just slightly. Lamp is staying within touch of Easy, who's staying within touch of Zach, who's trying to catch up to Switz, who's losing position, losing time to Charis. And the 3-second penalty still looms on for Switz. He'll have to do something about that.
Yeah, and then as DRS starts to be enabled, Switz will really hope they can at least catch up, just enough gap from Zach, just so that the 3-second penalties apply.
Beautiful
as you see
there.
Kendrick putting a move on Kendra. Can he make it though? The DRS does not open for him, as we still need to wait for the next lap to open.
Yeah, as you can see,
zone is right before.
Kendrick's battery is already below 10%, and halfway down the straight he was derating, and that meant the Alpine could have stayed ahead for much longer. And now Scientist looked for an opportunity there into turn 1, but couldn't find enough gap on the inside, so he'll have to back out from the move.
Yeah, now it's up to how Kendrick will manage his battery. Does the Alpine have more battery to stay in front, or does the AlphaTauri have enough battery to make a move? As they're gonna have to, work really hard to make sure they preserve enough battery as they enter this DRS zone for the next lap. You can see behind Scientist as well, we have Nabil and Flaky behind. So if
Easy's round,
Easy's
around. Easy is around and into the wall he goes. Can he recover back onto the track just in time here? You don't want to be going the wrong way. And yeah, he is back on track. But can we take a look at that? Doesn't well, actually he's lost quite a significant amount of his right hand play. He's gonna go into the pits. That's not a happy ending for Easy. Thankfully for him, he'll still be scoring points here from the back. But let's get back to the action here. Kendrick always getting good exit out of the last corner. He jumped. Nabil looks like it on the exit, and now he'll get a second chance here to make a move on Scientist with DRS. No, it's not Kendrick who's having the DRS. Kendrick has lost the DRS on the sector 3, and Nabil, being the ever so opportunist, now makes a move, double move on the pit straight around the inside, and now gets the outside. Easy is retired in the pits. Now Nabil is trying to go for a move. He's into some contact, and both of them are around. The Aston and the Mercedes come in contact. Both of them lose positions, and that is, well, that is bad.
That's unfortunate. That is. I can't comment on that right now on this one, because you really need to see each driver's input, but that was definitely a very aggressive move by the drivers right there for the position. Is it a really good fight?
Ooh,
that's questionable, but it was
definitely a tough call
move.
there, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough call. I think all parties need to be involved on that one. As we see the grid there's still a fight.
There's some confetti flying in the middle sector. That is, that's probably from the Alfa Romeo of Flaky and Saint, or the AlphaTauri of Saint. Is someone definitely crashed into the confetti there. Thankfully not into the walls here like you predicted at the start of the race. We've had a few of that. We may have a few more of those, but 4 laps to go. Still on the hunt here, Scientist. Now on the back of Flaky onto this pit straight here, DRS will make this pass seem quite easy. But can Flaky hang on for that P6 right now? Well, Scientist pulls along quite easily there and makes a move.
Yeah, has the battery to make the move, and I think he has secured it. Definitely a very good move by Scientist right here. Has been doing really good moves here in the AlphaTauri, keeping it very clean, minimal contact, minimal issues. And as you can see, paying off really well right now in P6, having no issues whatsoever. Though you see Nabil behind, even with that incident, still fighting on strong. Right now already behind Flaky. Will Flaky give Nabil the position, or will they fight to the very end? We have 4 laps remaining in this race. We have only 2 drivers with fresher tires. We have Womack and Zanub. The rest are on pretty worn tires, relatively speaking.
Yeah,
it's all up to as the tires degrade. As Flaky takes another 3-second time penalty. Now as the tires degrade, now the question is who can survive with the worn tires. That is a question for these drivers. Now it's all up to them and how confident and also how calm they are as they feather their throttle coming out into corners.
Nabil running a little bit wide there and potentially squandering his chance to make a move on Flaky ahead, and that opens up the opportunity for Womack here. Once again, the Williams and the Mercedes coming together in a good way here, battling it out for position. Womack tucks right into the slips and pulls out at the last moment, dummies on the inside, the outside, and goes for the inside. And well, Nabil keeps his cool for now. turns defense into attack by attacking Flaky, but Womax is not far off. So that goes to show if you squander up, if you make a mistake, and there you go, made a mistake, he did, and Womax once again around the outside. Can he stick it around the outside? He does, he just breaks quite deep into the corner, but he'll have to pull back. Nabil now goes for a move, and they go for a contact there. They both touch, and that is Womax up into P7, playing it patiently, turning attack into a bigger attack, and finally he wins 2 position by just intimidating the drivers in front.
Yeah, I think the tires of Nabil as well as Flaky locked up as they were touching each other. I think Nabil really has to remember that we are in open cockpit cars, we're not in GT cars. So when your tires lock up, they do really lock up. So you really have to make sure that you're safe. And you can't just have the excuse of you are side by side in this kind of cars.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't apply here, given how fragile these cars are.
Yeah, but I think round 2, maybe they'll have Nabil will have his revenge in some sorts with DRS here onto the pit straight. 6 times is the gap. He is going for it, and he's closing up, and I think he'll have to make this move sooner or later. Womax is running out. He's getting out of touch here. Can he go for the move on the inside? He does. He pulls on the inside. Flaky just lifts off a little bit early and lets Nabil go, knowing that he has a 3-second time penalty. Speaking of which, Kendra picked up another 3-second penalty, and that just invites scientists much and much closer there to steal the position away at the end. Up in front, further up in front, Zach has caught up to Switz now. And let's just bring up the tire details here real quick. As you can see, both of them on the medium tires, but they're 2-lap fresher medium tires on Zach's car, proving to be really crucial around here. And now he's gonna steal the position P2 away from Switz without even having to rely on that track limits penalty. So let's see just a little longer here. It's definitely going to be a change of position coming real soon. Can Switz hang on? Oh well, he definitely can hang on. Look at that. Zach gets a poor exit out of the last corner. Wow.
Yeah,
just how things can change in the corner.
Yeah, tires definitely playing a very big effect here, as you can see drivers being a bit excited, as well as the life of the tire starting to show. Start to lose grip coming out these corners, and you see Henrik fighting tooth and nail to defend from Zanoop. Even though Zanoop has a 6-second penalty, they are still fighting very strong for track position right here.
Ooh, Snoopy gets a poor exit though. I think that would have been a good opportunity to make a pass onto the straight here, but gets a poor exit, and it's gonna be set back just a little bit. Maybe he can make a move. Coming out of turn 3, Kenrick is already blinking, as you saw from the back shot there. And into turn 1, Kenrick runs a little bit deep. Zenubi tries to get a closer, tighter line here on the exit. Oh, he might just go for it though. He might just go for it here on the exit. Now Zenubi with the DRS, a second bite of the cherry, and it's not close enough.
Power for it though. Yeah, it's not close enough. I think. Oh, Zenubi, what are you doing?
Zenubi.
That is not a good idea.
Oh my goodness, that was so close to a even bigger disaster there. And now Ayman Haikal has spotted an opportunity to get past Zenubi here out on track. Well, we'll have to leave them be it for a moment here, but last lap here, the lap number 36, Switz will have to defend for his life if he wants to win this P2 here. Well, not win the race. He'll have to defend this P2 very hard here. Zach in P3 now. He's going for it. Both of them are running out of juice here. Zach does not have enough juice to make the move on Switz into turn 1 here. So, well, Switz will have to defend coming out of turn 3 here, and looks like well, it's still far away. I think Switz has this in P2 on track, but I don't think that's going to stay that long come the end of the race because of that time penalty here. Zenubi has lost the position to Ayman Haikal coming out of the stadium section. And now, while everything is starting to cool down, once again, Nick, 4 races in a row, can we just give this man the championship already? He is coming home for his 4th race win in a row, and what a show he has put on so far. He's coming around in the stadium section, confetti is going up.
No issues. Basically a very solid drive from Charis here in Mexico. And I think that really goes to show you just gotta be clean, you gotta be strong, and really just...
And
the
there
only
you go.
driver here is Dastiel, and the only driver here that can really win, they can beat Charis is Dastiel. Unfortunately, they just really could not
exactly
have the time for us to race here, but
yeah,
it has been a very solid drive for them.
Well, as Charis has crossed the line by doing a 360, Zach also crosses the line just behind Swiss and takes the P2 away by track limits penalties there. Lampy comes home in P4. What a recovery after, sort of a Aston Martin coming together. Kendra finishes home in P5. What a strategy he has had. Starting on the soft tires at the start, and then I think things just played out for him today. P5, what a show. Scientist coming in P6. Vumax, what a show as well. P7, Nabil coming on P8, Kendrick in P9 there. Flaky, after a little bit of a strategy blunder, I'd say, in the middle of the race, comes home for P10. Kept it clean though, compared to 5 other drivers that did not finish the race. 6 drivers that did not finish the race. Driver of the day goes to Kendrick, out on track for today. Wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I think Kendrick also had a lot of overtakes throughout this race. I think they really deserve the driver of the day with the amount of overtakes they have gotten this race.
Oof, what a race indeed. We've thought that we wouldn't get any safety car here, given that it's a not so dangerous circuit, but the middle sector once again proved us wrong, and we've had 3 safety cars today with all sorts of strategies coming together once again through all that to thick and thin. Look at that, Red Bull of Charis, 4 out of 4, taking a clean sweep in season 6 so far, and grabs the fastest lap as well for today. So that's full 21 points going to his name in the championship. Unfortunately, he won't be picking up maximum points for the team though, because Switz in P3 and Nabil in P8 there, definitely they are picking up a little bit more points against Red Bull today. Both Haasers not finishing the race, so that's a bummer for them. They were looking pretty strong there early on in the race to possibly pick up the most points here out of anyone today. But yeah, Nick, it's been a pleasure to commentate this race alongside you, and I think you've definitely had a lot of fun here. We've had plenty of things going on on track and off track as well, probably later on. But yeah, what would you make of this race?
Honestly,
ahead of the real life race.
Yeah, ahead of the real life race, I think we got. Are you thinking for the real life race? But speaking back about this race, right? I think honestly, there are definitely places that needs to be improved. I think the stewards are going to have a very long and hard discussion against the drivers. We had a very strong start to the season, but unfortunately, in my opinion, it's not up to the standards that I think we should be doing. But hey, it is just a race that we had here. I think we just have to look forward and move on to the next round.
Exactly. As usual, there's some game issues, with the contact model and whatnot. It's obviously imperfect, but there's also the track nature that allows a lot of side-by-side action, and we're glad that drivers are actually going for moves. Albeit it's somewhat on the limit sometimes, like we see, like today, maybe there's a bit more to be resolved in post-race for sure. Nick will get busy, but yeah, love to see the drivers putting up a show for us here in the comms box as well. And once again, I think we've had a pretty eventful race for today. 18 drivers started the race, but we've only ended up with 12. That goes to show anything can happen in sim racing. Next round though, Nick, we are going to Interlagos, Brazil, one of my favorite tracks as well. I think we're going to see some more action. It's sort of a little bit higher speed than Mexico, but it still provides a lot of overtaking on the first 2 straights. So it's going to be Mexico revisited in some sense.
Yeah, definitely. But also the fact that Brazil has a higher chance of rain. So who knows, we might get a very wet Brazil, don't you think?
Wet Brazil, make it happen. Let's enforce full wet lobby for the day. Well, if only that is possible, unless everyone votes for it, we'll go for it. But yeah, once again, thank you everyone for tuning in here in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe as well, hit that bell button, ding it as hard as you could, smash that, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Nick, thank you once again. I'll see you next week. We'll see y'all next weekend.
Yep, bye. See y'all next week.